Welcome, everyone. I'm Mark Heinlein with the National Tile Contractors Association, and you're here at the NTCA Roundtable Live Artisan Edition. Today is August 15th, 2023, and we're here today with our amazing topic, the Artisans Revolution in Tile, A.R.T, what's it all about? And today we will be led in our program by the one and only Jane Callowart. Jane?
Oh, Mark, I love you. Good. Welcome, everybody. This is great to have you here. This program kind of came to be, actually, we started talking about this program years ago, before Joshua and Lee even met each other, and I'll introduce them in a bit here, but it became known to us that there might be some even further needs for training in our industry. And it's all about taking us back to our artisan roots. So we're happy to have you here. We're going to spend the next hour or so kind of giving you an orientation of what this program looked like, and then hear from the people that actually participated, so that those that might be interested in something like this in the future get some sort of firsthand look inside. It was an exciting program to do, and we were just thrilled by the sponsorship. And the participants that were with us were magnificent. So look forward to hearing more from the rest of you as we proceed. There'll be questions taken at the end. And this is let me tell you a little bit about the tile artisan movement. Mark, the next slide. When Joshua Nordstrom and Lee Callowart got together about 4 years or so ago, the industry brought them together. But prior to them even meeting, they both became known for doing a lot of what we call artisan work. And they both had this, they fielded a lot of calls from people. They understood that there was a lot of interest in what they're doing, and a lot of people that were trying to understand the very specific methods and kind of the how-tos. And so they realized even then that there might be a place for some kind of training in the future. When they came together in 2012, they started talking in 2019, and NTCA asked them to do a program for coverings on artisanship in tile. And Joshua came to Milwaukee, and Lee and Joshua were able to finally meet in person and realized they had a very common bond. And they, in their belief of the importance of art, our tile as an art form. And so we kind of started this movement, and the industry really, wrapped their arms around it with the help of, NTCA and manufacturers, and certainly Tile Letter Artisan came out as a result of that. Leslie Godden thank you for being here, Leslie, was a great proponent of the importance of this. But the question is, what is that movement? Well, it's really about respecting the craft as an artisan trade, and being a conduit to recapture the magnificence of tile as an art form. Tile is one of the oldest art forms in history, and while everything evolves, including the products and technologies to support and modernize the craft, we have found that the craftsmanship and the art needs to be revitalized. With evolution comes opportunity. If we manage the inclusion of new products and methods and trained craftspeople into our present-day artisan work, we can also learn from the past, and this movement is to respect that history. And so that's what the whole movement really is about. The next slide, Mark. So Joshua and Lee, as I said, we talked about this program ages ago. And as the movement progressed, and we saw the interest and the industry really embrace going back to these artisan roots, or at least having an appreciation for that, they put together a program that's a 4-day intensive program, and this is designed for tile craftspeople, although our movement really encompasses a broader umbrella than that. But this in particular was about tile craftspeople, setters, contractors who wanted to understand a little bit more about how to actually introduce artisan work and be able to do that. So we broke it into 4 days. And as I said, it was intense, but it worked out pretty well. Day one was really about marketing artisan work, designing artisan work, templating and material selection. And then we went to day two, which was the tool orientation, fabrication, and into actually personal projects for the participants. They continued with that on day three, and then we got into pre-mounting methods. We'll talk about all these things in a minute. And day four, completing their projects and some group projects, grouting. We had some time on the importance of industry standards and the professional organizations, handling and packaging of their work. And we had some reflection, and we did some certificates and a celebration. It was a fabulous end to our program. And now I'd like to spend some time just Joshua and Lee commenting on the program as we went through it day by day. And that's the next slide. I'll just mention first that this was where we introduced the whole artisan movement and the whole concept of how do you introduce artisan work to a client. Joshua and Lee, you might have a few comments about that.
Well, this for me was the most stressful day. The sit down class day is always tough for an artist to sit down and focus for any long period of time. So we did this for the first couple hours in the morning. We had breakfast. And then everybody shuttled to the shop after this.
Oh. Lee?
Next.
Okay.
So when we got to the shop, we started talking about different ways to create these images or come up with templating ideas. We wish we could have spent more time on just about every aspect of this, but in order to be successful, we had to kind of keep rolling along with things. Next.
Yeah, we were there. This is kind of some of the same, the shot on the left there where I was talking about layering. That was a pretty important part of the whole designing process. We, like Lee said, we had to cram all of this stuff in the first day because we knew that we needed the last 3 days to, sorry, I got a needy dog at the door. We needed the last 3 days for fabrication. So we tried to figure out how much time to allot for everything. And I think we did an okay job of that because everybody seemed to.
Next.
I'm sorry.
So then we started getting the actually labeling. The first what we did is they were color coding and numbering their templates, their master and their working template. So this is what they're doing.
They had picked out their tile by this time too, because you can see the stack of tile there in front of Mike. Everybody had picked out their tile, their color choices, what they wanted to do, and then they were labeling at the same time.
Yeah, we got to that, I think, in a few minutes later, but I think for everybody, just to go backwards for a second, to put in perspective, if you weren't there, was that we had made a decision that everybody would create a project with the same template. And we had those templates made in advance, as you can see, and as you've probably seen if you saw the results of the program, these were koi fish, and everybody had an opportunity to customize theirs how they wanted it to be and use whatever materials they wanted. And yes, and so here they are numbering their koi template so that they could determine which pieces of stone or tile that they want to use in which places to create the result that they had.
Yeah, we had to streamline that because the designing and templating phase is easily as long, or I think even a little longer than the whole fabrication phase. So we didn't have time for everybody to design their own thing. So this really made it a lot easier.
Okay,
Next.
next.
We can,
That's just an overview of everybody hyper focused
Yeah,
on getting into this whole template placing process, utilizing the materials based on what they wanted to see. And yeah, this part, I think this is where everything clicked for people. You know, there was a lot of talk up until this point, and this is where they just had to like totally engross themselves in what they were about to embark upon. Next.
it was cool seeing everybody's color choices too. You know, everybody had the same palette to choose from, and everybody picked everything out so differently. It just made everybody's end project, you know, so unique to themselves. It was really cool to see all the different varieties that people chose. And that's
Nice.
Tom labeling there.
And there's where everybody's really getting into the actual material selection. We had everything, we cut everything down to 6 by 12 for the most part. And that also made it a little easier so that they didn't have to break down the material before they started placing templates. But you can see they had a quite the array of different materials to choose from.
and I
They're
think,
showing them how to drop templates too without distorting the vinyl, because if you don't lay the vinyl down right, you're gonna cut a shape that's you're gonna cut a shape that isn't gonna fit in the overall puzzle. Turn that off.
I think what was also important is that, you know, we talk about what was going on in each of these phases, but Lee and Joshua obviously spent quite a bit, and the other trainers spent quite a bit of time helping to orient the participants to the considerations. You know, for example, when you're selecting your tile, think about this, think about that, think about how this is going to handle, think about the shading, think about. So there was a lot of instruction that was in place prior to them actually making some of these decisions. Next.
More material selections. And like,
Reading the grain,
yeah,
the tile there.
a lot of conversations on, you know, we showed them looking at the back of the tile or marble or whatever it was, or you know, to look for weak spots, or utilizing the material in different ways, not just laying your template on the material, but laying it in a fashion that utilized the portions of the tile that you really wanted to highlight.
We tried to pick material too that was pretty stable. You know, there was some marble, and then you can see the honey onyx there. That was, you know, obviously the most unstable stuff. We actually had some travertine that didn't make the cut because it was just too punky. We just didn't want to set people up for failure. You know, we just didn't have enough time to really go through all of that. So, you know, that'll be another level of training with working with harder materials and maybe glass or something. But, you know, we kept it pretty much all the porcelain. There was some granite. You could see there was some travertine there, and some marble and onyx.
Next. Yeah, more of the template placement, which you can tell people took pretty seriously. When you looked around the room, nobody was talking. They weren't up, nobody's heads were up, they were all down, focused on the material and their templates. Next.
Yeah, there was certainly a lot of thought going into it,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty important because I mean, this is the time to make all your decisions because I mean, once it's cut, it's cut. So
Yeah,
we had a really good, for people that weren't there, Seth put an amazing soundtrack together for the whole week. So there was lots of good music to listen to. And I think everybody was just kind of zenning out on the music and then their own individual thoughts here.
Next. Now you can see where like Mike he's got quite a few templates placed on his material. So they're all getting closer. And you can see how Chris too is using, excuse me, he's using the veining of the onyx on the left there. Next. Well, and here it's tools.
Yeah, this is the next day. So this is day 2, the morning of, and we're going over, we did a 45-minute, or it was a half hour or 45-minute discussion on, you know, the saw safety and how to use the saws properly. And then after that, everybody was on their own. And we just kind of hung out and looked over people's shoulders and just kind of guided them a little here and there. And as the day progressed, there was less guidance needed. Everybody just really got the hang of it and just really took off with it. Everybody left with 10 fingers too, which was really nice.
Next. And there we are again, just kind of going through orientation of the tools and how to use them. On the wet saw, you know, there's a lot of things to learn on how to cut shapes that maybe you haven't thought about before. So that, you know, it was important. Yeah, it's a wet saw. Everybody uses a wet saw, but everybody doesn't use a wet saw like we use it. So, you know, there was an important time spent showing how to safely do that. And the same with the ring saw. You know, maybe a lot of people never even ran one. And this is very important to do and very important for people to understand that there's certain pieces of equipment aren't very tolerant of the caveman approach, if you know what I mean. So, so yeah, it was this. I think this was a very important part before the fabrication began. Next.
Well, that looks like the shapers. So Mike had already been cutting some tile at this point, and he's dressing the edge of his tile, just kind of cleaning up any of the little chips that might occur when you're cutting. So we had those shaper stations kind of set up throughout, so anybody can go over and walk a shaper at any time they wanted to. We had enough saws that everybody was on a saw the whole time. Either it be a wet saw or a ring saw, and we'd go for like an hour or so, and then we'd switch. Kind of teaching everybody to, you know, maybe cut out all your intricate stuff on the ring saw and all the other stuff out on the wet saw. You know, vice versa, you know, just give everybody a chance, equal amount of time on both saws. So that worked out well.
I think it's, yeah, and the shapers that you're seeing, we call them shapers. They're technically glass grinders. By the Wizard glass grinder is what we use by Inland Craft. And I should just mention here, as we talk about all these tools, that obviously we sat there with 8 ring saws and 8 wet saws, and that's a lot of tools. Gemini Saw Company came in and was very supportive, as were other people in the industry and organizations that helped either lent us or donated or gave us their tools to help with this program. Inland Craft, who makes this Wizard, they came in and they donated, I believe, 3 of those to us as part of this training because they believed so much in what we were doing. Gemini donated a ring saw and a lot of parts. We had other people in the industry, J&R Tile. I know Chris Kane made his available to us, and then we were able to borrow some from other people. And with the ring saw or the wet saws, which we happen to own a lot of ourselves, then we had others come in and help us with that. And, you know, Tom and you guys, you were awesome. We have a great network here locally, and the Wisconsin tile contractors were awesome about helping us with all of our needs and our setup, and they were just so supportive. So we really had a great deal of appreciation for sponsors and others that came in and helped us with having the materials and the tools set up. Next.
Looks like Joshua is critiquing some movement there.
Here's Jamie.
Well, watching, you know, for the first day, it's all about, you know, on the wet saw, like we said, you know, everybody uses these things, but 95% of the time you're cutting and your tiles on the table. And when you're shaping tiles, you're holding it off the table. And there's a fine line you cross there with the binding. And it's all about not binding the tile. So just watching Jamie cut, and she definitely got the hang of it real fast, as everybody did. So, you know, and trying to I was trying not to, and I'm sure Lee, you probably were too, trying not to be too invasive over their shoulder, because sometimes, you know, if somebody's looking over your shoulder while you're trying to do something, it makes it harder. So it might look like I'm really hovering, but I'm actually standing back a little ways, trying to stay out of her peripherals.
Yes.
Next. More.
That's the wet saw tent. We had that set up outside, which worked out really well. So the majority of the noise was outside in the mess.
Next.
That's the ring saw station set up inside.
Next. Oh, some pieces.
Yeah, starting to put them together.
Yep.
Looks like Trevor and Mike, this is both their pieces. So Mike was the only one that went tone on tone. He went all, I think that's his, isn't it? It looks
Mike
like
Manis?
no, it's not. It's
No.
not, because there's different colors stone there.
Yeah.
So anyways, Mike Manis was the only one that chose the tone on tone, and he used the wood grain porcelain. And he was playing with the different colors and the shading in it to kind of shadow his koi. And then he really picked up on the veining of the wood grain in like the fins and stuff of his, and it turned out really neat.
Next. Progress. Oh,
Yeah.
right. You see, it's time to switch equipment.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead, Joshua.
I just say everybody had a board that was their own. So, you know, that's what everybody built their piece on. I think it was 2-inch Latticrete board. And yes, and we just moved them around. It worked out really well. There was no accidents.
next. And here we're talking about
Pre-mounting.
remounting, which we did we did two methods. We did the fabric and the mesh mount, so people could actually choose which way they'd like to try. And it turned out, you know, about half the class went to the mesh and about half the class went to the fabric. So next. And here they're actually, they're prepping for the fabric method. They're back coating their pieces, getting ready to flip them onto fabric. Next.
Yeah, well, so the left side there is the the mesh and membrane method upside down. And the right side is the other method. And they're using the straight edge to make sure that it's a nice flush surface, so there's no lippage.
Next. Oh, boy.
So
Yeah.
that fish looks like it's upside down.
Yep.
That's the back side of it. And they look as cool on the back side as they do the front side when they're all put together.
And they were drying their fish in the sun. Kind of like to cure them out, make sure that the mortar on the right there had been cured out properly before grouting. Next.
There's our grouting station. We used all spec 1. We had different, all kinds of different colors. We had the translucent, we had glitter, we had glow, we had all kinds of dazzle that people can put in. Some people use the glitter, some people use the glow, some people use both. They turned out really cool. There again, everybody had the same stuff to choose from, but they all did it differently, and it just made them all turn out differently. And some people used multiple colors of grout. Some people just used all one color.
Next. On here, they went through the process of cutting in an inlay into a field. So they all had to kind of come together, and everybody cut some of these pieces to fit into this limestone field.
So that was an inlay that we'd made for the coverings that never happened in, was it 2020 or 2021 in New Orleans. And so that was an example of what we were going to do for that. And we never used it. So it was a perfect thing with a lot of organic shapes to talk about the different ways of cutting it in and different options of cutting into your field tile. We talked about the different ways to lay it out, your options, with what size tiles it leaves to cut, and if it's doable or not. And we talked about all the different things that and scenarios you want to go over when you're setting something into the field tile.
Next. And here's just a shot of somebody, let's see, working on the logo. Next.
There's
This is
the
a
logo.
project that they worked on together to create the logo for the program. So it's just another thing they did after they had finished their koi. Or was this after they were done grouting? I guess so.
Yeah, after they were done with their own project, it was just extra things, and everybody did cut something for it. So everybody took part of it.
Yeah. Which on that is we're working on. We're gonna put that on a board and hang that will stay with the program. Next. Happy people.
Yeah, that was a proud moment. Everybody was so happy to show off their fish. It was that was a pretty joyful moment. You can see how happy everybody is. Cool. And then on the left, they're getting their certificates.
Yep. Next. Oh, and then there's that.
Yes. Who wants to talk about this? Is there anybody in here that took part of it?
Yeah, where are you guys?
Leslie, Lucas.
Josh.
Lucas.
Josh, all you guys who are involved in this.
Lucas, you're the mastermind of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucas, taking a
Got to
while,
unmute.
and it's actually Lucas's idea, and he was saying that I think I don't know if Lucas might want to chime in here, but he had been inspired, seen something like it before, and so we just started talking about it. And we were like, let's make it happen.
So there, I don't know, you guys didn't, I didn't hear it, but so people don't know that this is it was a busted part of the sidewalk out in front of the hotel.
Oh, right,
And
yeah.
these guys made this piece, and that's the St. Kitts logo for the hotel.
Hello?
There he is.
There he is.
Oh,
All right,
I couldn't
Lucas.
figure out how
Talk
to
to
get
us,
sound.
Lucas.
I couldn't figure out how to get sound. I'm a not technologist. I had to download Zoom 10 minutes before the thing. So
So talk
So what
about.
gave you the idea to do this, Lucas?
I didn't hear anything they just said up until right now.
Oh, we're talking about the 8 logo that you guys put in the sidewalk. So we're just
Yeah, I
asking.
see those pictures.
Yeah, how did that come about? They were saying,
Well, me and Josh were standing outside becoming friends, and we just saw the little things in the ground and it looked ugly and it needed to get filled in, because you see those videos on the internet, and I'm sure everyone who ever saw one of those was like, wow, look how cool that is. And so we just had to do it, and then we went the next day. I set my phone down and put some of that clear, what's that, Visclean? What is that stuff called?
The
Mylar?
The
mosaic
thick
tape.
Mylar. I set some Mylar on top of my cell phone and then just drew it right there. So it's an iPhone screen size logo. It was actually not planned out very well because the ring saw radius was too thick to make the original template work out. But we got her in there. And then me, Josh, and Rick, Art, we kind of just, I'm not sure this might have helped, but I knew us at least made the nice little pendant right there and got him. And then everyone kind of just started trickling in. And we all had the greatest time, bad boy in there.
This is an awesome thing
You
to
guys,
do.
the shadow photo touched everybody too. It was special.
Yeah, it was awesome. And just so anybody that was not at the program, St. Kate, the Art Hotel, is behind or in the background here. And that's the hotel where all the participants stayed, which was a pretty spectacular artisan statement in itself. But for them to find that spot out front and to put the St. Kate logo in there to replace the ugly thing, as as Lucas called it. It was awesome. So that was just a small thing that was going on the last day for those that were done with their project, but they were all kind of participating in some group things, and the inspiration was, I guess it was ignited, and they were carrying on with it. It was cool, very cool.
It was
Next.
very fun. We stumbled across them, Sharon and I, we came back from dinner and we stumbled across this project that was being installed, and it was like, what is happening? And it was just really fun. The music festival had started, so there were motorcycles zipping down the street, and it was just a very festive atmosphere. It was really, really fun to see that take shape. And then I came back the next day and took a picture of it in the daylight, and it was just so great. There was such a great spirit around everybody, just kind of getting in there and putting in the logo. It was a real community project and a wonderful energy around it.
Exactly. All right.
My
next.
favorite part was when Leslie was dragging the cone down the street.
it was awesome. What is that
Needed to
noise?
protect it.
Maybe this is a good time.
Perfect.
It's a good time to mention that, we're whipping through what the actual content of the days were, but the spirit that was just resounded throughout the week was really beautiful. And we had wonderful opportunities. People were able to get together. We had, we'll talk about the sponsors in a minute, but we had fun in addition to just working really hard. So next. Oh, that was
Yeah, this is when some of the spectators got their hands dirty and made their own mosaics. So
Yeah.
they were just as into it as everybody else was.
Yeah, Sharon and Leslie, you might have something to say about that.
Sure. Well, Maria said to me, "Hey, do you want to get on the ring saw?" And I was like, "No, no, I don't. I'm terrified." And then I thought, "Oh my gosh, I cannot walk away from this incredible opportunity without just trying this, you know?" So Maria and Seth were really encouraging and so supportive in helping me to kind of create the, create the design to size and then to, to cut it on the ring saw. I was surprised that I was able to cut a curve like that. It was really amazing. And then I've seen pictures because I wasn't really, paying attention because I was also hyper focused on what I was doing of like, Joshua and Lee also kind of like looking over my shoulder and making sure things were going good. So it was really, really fun. And I was able to complete a mosaic that I have here. So it was a great experience for me. And and it helped me to understand a little bit more what everybody was doing. So it helped with the writing of the stories and stuff to actually get my hands on it and to get a real feel for it. So I'm really grateful to have had that experience. Thank you.
Well,
Sharon?
Leslie, we know you have the bugs, so it was awesome to see you get on the ring saw. You're so creative. And that was you just finished your first mosaic, so it only made sense.
True. And now I have my own, thank you, Seth, ring saw that I have not yet put into practice, but I will soon.
Sharon, is Sharon still here?
I'm here.
Yeah, you had some fun. I loved watching you on that.
I did. I honestly never expected that I would be actually cutting and using saws on this trip and an event, but Lee and Joshua really kind of pushed me and they're like, "Come on, you can do it." So I've never used a saw in my life, and a saw like this. So it was really interesting to use. I mean, they were looking over my shoulder, they were helping me out, giving me tips as I was going along. I didn't go quite as far as Leslie did. I didn't make a full piece. I made like a little heart, but I didn't want to miss documenting everyone else and what they were doing. So I just kind of kept my piece small, but it's sitting on my work desk and I, look at it every day and I'm like, wow, I kind of did something here. So who knows what the next event will hold for me. Maybe I'll be there doing an actual piece. So it was pretty cool.
Great. We had others come in to, that's Jan Hahn up on the right side from Hahn and Hahn in Minneapolis. And she drove over because she was just so darn curious about what was going on. And she kind of got back in the corner and went along and did her own piece. So next. We have so much to say about the industry support. It was really incredible how people came together throughout the industry to support this program. It says a lot. Obviously, we had Leslie there from the editor of Tile Letter with us for the entire duration, and she was able to document a lot of what took place and capture a lot of that. And we've seen some of the articles and wonderful writing that has come out since then about this program. And of course, Sharon from Laticrete, who just shared her experience. It was so wonderful to have her there throughout the week and documenting and supporting. And Ron Nash from Laticrete came in for 3 days. He was, there's so much to learn from Ron. We wish we could have captured all of his wonderful comments, but also just the spirit of him being there and taking photos because he's a master photographer. But Laticrete really came out full force. NTCA was amazing. They were the ones that really started us believing that we could do this program and getting behind it. And I know that Jim and Mary Olson came over from Minneapolis. Jim, the assistant executive director of NTCA, and his wife, Mary, who works in the publications marketing part. Then we had, as you can see down on the left hand, anybody that knows Dave Gobus, who's kind of considered the godfather of tile. He came and spent some time with us on a day, and he's the one that started CTEF and has got he's now retired, but a long history in the industry. And actually, I just spoke with him this week, and he has so many positive things to say about the participants and about the program. He called it exceptional. And okay, and before that, there's also I forgot to mention the assistant trainers. Hank Boyle came in for a day and really did a great job going through at lunchtime the importance of industry standards. You know, the most beautiful work in the world means nothing if it doesn't last. And we were really grateful to have him spend that time with us. Jeff Kimmerling from Laticrete was just unbelievable, with just all kinds of support as an assistant trainer. And then most of you know Maria Meyer, our apprentice at Dragonfly, and Seth Reddy, who is here tonight, who's actually back here in Milwaukee right now. He's just been a great supporter and wonderful assistants to us over years of different programs. But Maria and Seth were, you know, they were the team on deck for sure. And so we wanted to, you know, make sure that we understood how important that role is. With the Crevillian family, Tom and his wife Shauna came up from or came down, spent some time here. And did I mention John Hahn was here? We had all the people from Tile Tools. Wow, Tile Tools is a local company that actually sells, they're a national company that happens to be local. And I can't even tell you how much support they provided to our program. And we were just very, very thankful for them as well. Next. And you can kind of see all these people coming together. Arto sponsored a dinner. Michelle, you can see Labriola on the second photo is here for the day and the night, learning from us and showing her support. This picture on the left is the whole group getting together for the Arto dinner at the Safe House in Milwaukee, which was quite an experience. Matt Felton on the right with Ron Nash, one of our local most amazing tile crafts people who has just always been supportive, and he lent some tools to us as well for the week. And there's Tile Tools did a reception on Monday evening. They're down on the left there. Awesome. Again, they were over and over supporting us with whatever we needed. They were just amazing. Leslie, of course, who could not thank Leslie Moore for her support and everything she's done to capture the artisan movement and this program in particular. And then, of course, you have, let me see, who else do we have on here? Oh, I can't see them. Jim and they're cut off, but I see Jim Olson there. Oh, Mary, and Mary's with him, his wife. So we appreciated all the support and the sponsorship. It was fun to have everybody there joining in the excitement and just helping out. Next. Yes, and I mentioned Gemini Saw Company right there. We ended up with a good setup of ring saws thanks to them and others in the industry that helped us. EMI Specialty Papers, thank you to them. They were just amazing in what they donated to us so that we could work on our pre-mounting and face taping our mosaics. And then I mentioned the others. Thank you. Next. So the future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways, said Robert Greene. And I think that kind of summarizes the spirit of what was taking place that week, is learning more skills and being creative in what we do with those skills. The whole industry has done so much as it relates to training. And Mark, I would like to just commend NTCA in their expansion of all the training that they're doing throughout the industry, and to all the manufacturers as well that are doing so much. This is just one, but I think it's so important that we can take advantage of these and that we are all engaged constantly in learning. I wonder if we could have just a little time. I know that there are some of the participants here, and I would love to hear your thoughts about what you considered to be maybe your favorite part of the program, or whether you're doing anything differently as the result. And also, if you had some advice to anybody thinking about this program, you know, what might you you tell them to consider what in terms of your experience. And I'll let you guys kind of raise your hands because I know there's a few of you here. There you go. Lucas.
Hi there. I would just like to say, wow, like what a week. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, can you introduce yourself for everybody and for the video or for the recording?
Say what?
Yeah, I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves for the recording so that it's here.
Yeah, definitely. Josh Vassallo, Central Texas, Vassallo Tile and Stone. I would like to just say that it was quite the week, and it's probably the best thing I could have done for myself and my business. I mean, it's opened up a whole new world I otherwise wouldn't have been quite in tune with. All the participants seem to be really diving into things individually. And the title is literally what it states, Artistic Revolution in Tile. To the future participants, just my advice to them would just get after it. Don't hesitate, be a sponge, get ready to be inspired and allow your creative mind to flow. It's really awesome that I've been a part of this for me. And I'm super thankful, inspired, and it's just given me that spark. I couldn't be more excited than I'm now, I'd say, for this point in my career. So just, yeah, all around just inspired and super grateful. This is a project I'm working on kind of right now. Real fun lady. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Oh,
Sweet.
Yeah.
love it.
You know, I'm just, everything's like, it's just new lens that I have now. It seems, I just look at things differently. It's super cool.
Awesome.
Thanks, Josh. We loved having you as well. Who else do we have here from the program? There you go, Lucas.
Hello. Well, for anyone considering to attend a future program, to know about the experiences that I would say you need to sign up for that if you've heard of this. When you see the post, you need to get in on it. You need to be serious and ambitious. I wouldn't say this is for someone who just is dabbling. Everyone there was certainly very much committed to this and devoted, and it showed in so many ways. It was really beautiful. So I would say just make sure you're serious about it, and then if you are, don't even blink an eye, just go for that. As a result of the program, am I doing anything differently? Oh man, everything. I'm doing everything differently now. It's pretty bizarre. I kind of never thought of myself as an artist. I always thought other people were artists, and that changed. Like someone pulled a tablecloth out from under my feet. So now I just need to not spread myself too thin, probably. I would say that, like Josh said, it's a new lens. And my favorite part of the program was that it's still penetrating my mind and my life and my brain perpetually. It's almost like it hasn't really sunk in. And it's like I heard everything. And as I'm working and making my art, it's all coming like it was so well planned out, but it was so free. There was so much freedom simultaneously, and I can't really wrap my mind around how you accomplish that. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Lucas. Who's here? Is Matt here? I don't see who all the other people are, so. Another participant is there. You go. Yay. Okay. Thank you. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm here. My name's Chris Resty. I'm from upstate New York, Rochester, New York. It's Crest Tile and Mosaic. And I told Jane when I was there that I was so on board with this, like beforehand, that when I heard about the on sale, it was like buying Taylor Swift tickets. I woke up early And I signed up, I did my application straight away, and I was just so excited to be a part of it. And the hands-on portion was phenomenal. I mean, just being a part of it was great. But I want to say that the design and the plan part was super critical. Like day one, if I didn't have that, I have the tools at home and I could have figured it out. But that day one was just unbelievable. It opened my eyes to the artistic world of things that I didn't have beforehand. And it really prepared me to come home and do these things on my own. Without other people's art, without any of those things, I was just able to create on my own that I couldn't have done without that before. One thing that was also just done phenomenally was the environment that was set up there was just amazing. Like the camaraderie that came out of that and the support, not just from the other participants, but from the folks that ran it, is just unbelievable. There's not a word for how enthusiastic we all were on that last day and the enthusiasm that we all took home. And most of us still probably carry with us is just phenomenal. I think Lucas said the other day that we still talk and everything, but Lucas said, this is all I want to do. And I feel the same way. I wouldn't miss another bathroom if I could just do all this stuff all the time. You know, so I would definitely recommend it for anybody that is serious about taking their work to the next level and really considers tile as an art.
Thank you. Awesome. Who else do we have?
Trevor, what are you doing over there?
Oh, not much. Trevor Hook here, just out of Madison, Wisconsin area, hooked on tile. I did not write anything down, but I just didn't even know what to start writing down. The takeaway from this was absolutely incredible. I never would have imagined we'd learn this much in such a short time. And you guys, all the trainers and everyone did an amazing job planning it all and being able to teach us all that in such a short time. And I've certainly now got home and what used to be just my toy shed with all my four-wheelers, dirt bikes, snowmobiles, all that has now turned half, shoved all that into one half, and the other half is now a workstation. I have a new glass shaper and a new wet saw specifically for the workshop. I haven't got a ring saw yet, but I talked to Lucas and he once again just talking to others from the class and helping me remember a few things you guys had taught us about just finding different spots to put grout joints to be able to make your tools work for the mosaic you're trying to make. And it's been an awesome experience just learning from you guys and meeting everyone there. And just to anyone thinking about doing it, absolutely go for it. Absolutely. Don't hesitate.
Thank you. I see Mike back there, but I think that's Mike. Anybody else have anything they want to add to this part? Okay, go ahead.
Hey guys.
Got
Tony
Todd.
popped in.
Oh, look who's here. Hi, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Hello. Tony Kavanaugh, Flooring Concepts, out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I ended up sneaking into this class by accident. I completely missed out on the registration and a bunch of my tools ended up at the shop, and told the guys I was willing to help out in any way I could. And then I got a call then pretty much a day or two before the program asking if I could cancel everything I had planned for the next week and be a participant. And I really couldn't, but I did. And it was probably the best move I made. This class did something for me that I didn't think it would, and it showed me that instead of general contractors and things like that dictating what I do with my life, I can do what I want to do with my life. And base my life around doing more artistic things rather than the same stuff day after day. And since I've taken the class, I mean, the amount of things I've learned has been crazy, and I work them in every job I do now. It doesn't matter what it is. There's something I learned from this class that's getting applied to that job. And that's a pretty important thing, because it just makes you keep getting better and better and better as a person. And it gives you more and more confidence to sell this art to customers and not question yourself whether you're getting in over your head or anything like that. So it's been really, really important. And if you're anybody at home thinking about taking this class, it was basically the most well orchestrated course I've ever taken, taught by literally the best people in the industry. Like, there's nobody better to learn from. And even though they're really good, they were still really easy to relate to and understand when they were explaining to you the different ways to do things. And sometimes when you talk to somebody who's so good at something, that everything they say just goes way over your head. And they were able to dumb it down for us, you know, being so fresh at doing these kind of things, like the way we had to use the wet saw, and teaching us how to properly use the ring saw and maintain the ring saw. And there's just so much that you wouldn't think you would have been able to learn in just 4 days. I mean, my only issue with the class is I wish it was 6 days, but yeah, it was really a remarkable experience. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to take a class that I learned as much from as this. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, Tony. Anybody else here? I don't want to cut anybody out. That I can't see everybody, so I'm not sure who's here.
Jane, you have Tom there.
Is Tom here? I thought I saw Tom's.
Oh, I couldn't get away from you guys. Yeah. Everybody hit on pretty much everything I would say. The food was excellent. I like being around Josh and Lee, obviously two of the best to ever do this. Like having the other installers there and having those installers so focused, and I actually learned a lot from them as well. I mean, getting a group of guys and girls together that care so much about the industry and want to advance themselves and everybody else was really inspirational. I mean, the focus was there during the day, but you know, after, we had a lot of time to spend together and get to know other people in the industry, and a lot of those people I'm staying in touch with now, you know, and staying inspired with the things that they're doing. We're extremely busy at work right now, so I don't have as much time to work on little projects for myself yet, but pretty much every single client that I've come across since then, I've tried to pitch in one way or another to do a mosaic or a scribe, or just add some kind of art to it. And I think that's pretty incredible. Yeah, I was really fortunate. Great food, okay people, awesome music. I would highly recommend it to anybody thinking about it. Like the main thing that everybody said is how well organized it was. You know, I've gone to a lot of trainings all over the place, and some of them were really helpful and some of them weren't, but no training has been organized, you know, from top to bottom as well as this was. I feel like, you know, we only had 5 days, but there wasn't any wasted time. So thank you for everything, and hopefully there's an advanced class soon.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate that. And if there's anybody else here that I just haven't seen, feel free to weigh in. I know that Leslie and Sharon, you were there. You had shared some of your comments. So I'm just going to give you all a second here. If there's anybody else that has anything they want to say.
I just want a second or third or fourth or fifth, the organization aspect of this class. I have to say, I was just blown away by how much got crammed into 4 days. I mean, I was amazed. Like there's 107 pieces to the koi, right? So there's all that you're working on. And then, oh, wow, look, now we're doing a logo. Wait, there's time to do that as a group project. And oh, wait, there's more. There's the inlay project. And I was amazed that all that could get done in that amount of time. And the amount of time that people got to be on the wet saw, I think it was 45 minutes at a time. You know, the wet saw versus the ring saw, everybody got to try the equipment. And, you know, Lee, you use the word hyper-focused. It was really incredible to watch and to just feel that energy focused on those projects. And people were just, you know, you're like one with your art, you're one with the project. And it was so inspirational. I felt so happy when I left from there and went home for like the next week. I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to feel like this all the time. It was amazing. So just being part of that environment and the music and just everybody being so supportive and wonderful. It was a great experience getting to meet a lot of the artisans I have not met before, you know, so that was really great for me to get to meet people and to see the camaraderie and the community that developed. It was really, it was an incomparable experience. I think I used, it was a mountaintop experience. It really was. And I just want to commend everybody who participated and who sponsored and who supported in any way. It was just incredible. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this is going to roll out in the future. And I hope we can get some more folks to come and have the experience. So thank you for everything. And I got a cool shirt.
Me too.
I would just,
I want to say how much energy was in the air. Everybody was just so into it. You know, it was funny because Lee and I we'd sit back at lunchtime and we'd laugh because, you know, what we gave like 45 minutes or something for lunch, hour maybe. And I don't remember, it seems so long ago now, but like people would they would inhale whatever we gave them for lunch and they just jump right back on the tools. So we kind of had a bet, like who's going to be the first on the tools. And it was funny. It was like, you know, most of the time, like, you know, you milk every possible second of your lunch break. And it was quite the opposite. People just couldn't wait to get back on the tools and keep working on their project. So that just, you know, is proof of like how into it everybody was. We tried to keep everybody immersed in art from the second they got there to the second they left. So, you know, the creativity was flowing. It was a whole nother level of energy in there. It was a really cool thing to experience. And I'm super proud of everybody, seeing like what everybody's been making since. It's been pretty incredible, you know. You know, our whole going into this, you know, Lee and I were, you know, the whole thing is, you know, we're just trying to shave off the 20 years it took us to learn this stuff. You know, we just shaved all that time off, and now you guys have all, you know, everybody's learned this, and they just hit the ground running. It's just cool to see where everybody's taking it and how excited everybody still is. And I hope the excitement just continues to grow because, you know, every job you do, you know, you always, the next one, you try to do it, the next one a little bit better and go a little bit bigger on. So I'm excited to see what it leads into for everybody. There's got to be more tile art out there. Tile's been pretty stale, and it's cool to see the revolution come alive and see everybody making neat stuff.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. I'm gonna say kind of like everybody's pretty much touched on a lot of it, and a couple of things that were said I think are very important things to remember about going through a program like this is that the hope is that you view everything a little differently, whether it's a koi fish or a detail in your everyday tile work. Really, that is the depth of what this is. So if you took that away, you really, to me, you got the true essence of it, is training your mind to be more focusing on details and what can I do with that? Can I twist it? Can I turn it? Can I make it better? Because that is art in itself. So, and everybody stay tuned. There's more to come. So there'll be some more conversations about these things, and we won't get off into the weeds about that, but Joshua, Jane, and I are having some conversations, and we'll keep you informed.
I just want to say a huge kudos to everyone behind the scenes coming from marketing. I know how much work goes into putting on these events, and just in my 8 years at Laticrete, I've been to a fair amount of events and trade shows, and this was honestly the best one that I've ever been to. So hats off to everyone who made it happen, and to everyone who participated, all the attendees. It was really awesome to see everybody. I feel like everyone really gelled together. Everyone was super supportive. You were all encouraging each other throughout the whole event. And then even afterwards, now in our own little group that we formed, and we communicate back and forth, sharing just what you're working on. It's awesome to see what you're taking away from the training and now using in real life. So keep it up, everyone. I'd love to see more of your work. And hopefully we'll have another one of these events that we can all attend.
Thank you, Sharon.
Seth, Maria.
Oh,
Ladies first.
I was waiting for you. I was like, oh. Well, I just want to say thank you so much, because that experience exceeded all of my expectations, and it really was emotional to see everybody go on the last day. And it's really a bond that I think we'll forever have. And it's crazy to see you guys all dive into your own projects after you left. I don't know who's all in their shop, but if they could show what they're working on, but it's really cool. Keep sharing it. I love seeing it. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this.
Yeah, basically what Maria just said. Super excited to see everybody, continuing to create, even afterwards, whether it's drawing or actually, making the mosaic, I think is, really awesome to witness. I guess my big takeaway was, a ton of them, but just, the feeling of community and the feeling of how everybody was like on the same page, and there was no ego, and, it was like, building people up, not just as tile setters, but as, people, and gaining confidence. And I say all that because that's what I received, is confidence, and, just, the inspiration is endless messing with Josh and Lee, but, now it's gotten even bigger, and I just, hope to continue seeing all the participants, doing what they know now, and, keeping it moving. So yeah, I'm just grateful for everybody. So thank you guys.
Jane, we've heard from you amazing artisans and this team of artisans that have done this and been there and worked on this, and our sponsors and NTCA and Laticrete, and I know the other sponsors you mentioned, and I see Mike Bernal of Tile Tools. Mike, how was it for you, sir?
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I mean, I've been a part of a lot of different trainings, don't get that wrong, but you guys took something that was such a great curriculum for one, and you took it and you made it into an awe-inspiring inspiration, that you took tile setters and you created artisans. You inspired them. I mean, the flow of everything, the timelines, you hit everything on mark, which I know you guys were nervous about, but I mean, it was just, the flow was just amazing. I think the tone that you set at the beginning really, 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 really helped a lot. The music, all that, I think it was just a great vibe, a great mojo, which helped everybody just kind of flow into what you're teaching. I mean, I'm in awe. Honestly, I'm in awe on what you guys did. It was amazing. And I'm in awe with, what everybody accomplished in such a short period of time. Like you said, all those pieces, all those things, everything just flowed and there was no rush for anything. It just flowed amazingly. And kudos to you guys. Kudos to all the participants. And it's amazing. Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate everything you did as well. There was so much behind the scenes that people didn't realize. Tile Tools, you guys opened up your shop and just said, come, what do you need? And we asked you for, some backup stuff, and oh yeah, we've got it. Not only do we have it, but we'll have it there for you so that you're not gonna have calls for it. So some of those things that helped facilitate the kinds of things you're talking about, which is the flow and the lack of interruption and what have you, that was very much accomplished because of all the support from organizations like you. And Tile Tools was awesome. Laticrete was awesome. I mean, there were all of you, everybody was awesome as far as their support and making that happen for us. Obviously, we had to think about all those things in advance, but for me, the greatest thing, no, there's too many great things for me, but I was involved with Lee and Joshua in planning this program for many, many, many months. And my background is in training and education. And that's what I did before I ever got involved as a tile contractor. And the greatest joy, I realized I didn't even think about it until afterwards, where I went, oh my gosh, I remember how good this feels. One of the things for me, and the reason that I really enjoyed my former career or aspects of it is that I was very much involved in the development of people, and watching other people succeed and develop and grow was my greatest gift. I did not need anything personally. If my team succeeded, I was so excited. If I used to manage hundreds of employees. If an employee was developing, whether it was the result of always many people and many things, but maybe perhaps some of my coaching, that was my greatest joy. And after this program, I found myself on Thursday night going, wow, there's a whole lot of people that succeeded and they've grown this week. And honestly, that to me was my greatest joy. Though the months we spent planning and developing the program to achieve that was all well worth it. And truly was the result of the people that you have together, the team, the various things that everybody brings to the table. And wow, what a great group of participants who were there with their heart and their intent and their energy, and all the supporters and sponsors. To me, that was my greatest joy. So that's what I got. Thank you all for being there. We are talking about the future, and we will certainly let everybody know when and what we know about that. I think the plan now is at Total Solutions Plus TSP in October that there'll be some further discussions. We all know, everybody knows, it takes a lot to make these events happen successfully on the part of many, many people. And so we're trying to be thoughtful and planful and respectful about what that is. We didn't want to proceed with this particular program either until we knew that we had the support and the commitment that was required to make it be successful. And we got that. And so as we plan forward, that will be our same intention. There is so much training done in our industry that I think it's important we look at it as a whole. the organizations, the manufacturers do a lot of training. I have watched training explode in our industry since my involvement, and particularly in the last number of years. And I want to take just a second and thank somebody who's here, who, I mean, my heart just, oh my gosh, who has done so much for training in our industry. This is only one event, and NTCA has been doing just an amazing job of responding to the needs. And Mark Heinlein, thank you for what you do for our industry. And you have been a big part of helping us grow the artisan movement and the training in the artisan and the present, just bringing it to light for so long. And we have so much respect for you. And if you have anything you'd like to say about NTCA's training and what you're doing now and in the future, we'd love to hear it. You guys are just rocking it.
Jane, it's an honor, a pleasure. It's all of those things. It's just crazy cool. Our relationship with the artisans in the tile industry and the entire tile industry. And you're right, the demand for training is so strong. And we have grown with leaps and bounds to meet that demand. We're pushing 300 programs this year across the United States. And, I took a lot of notes and I got a couple of questions. In fact, I've got a couple of technical questions about the program, if I can ask them. But before I go there, I want to say one recurring theme I've heard and been very inspired by all of you that were there and spoken. And I jotted this down, and and this is true. This is what our entire NTCA training team sees all the time, that training is professional development. It reaches out and touches us if you let it, right? And it can be professionally life-changing and personal life-changing that follows if you just let it and come and do this. You guys experienced that. I heard it over and over again. That was a recurring theme. I heard it from Tom when I saw him the other day in Milwaukee. Tom, you've been doing this for 1,000,000 years, and you did this artisan program, and you're back on fire with your entire career and your company. And so many of you, Chris and Josh and everybody, that this has just shown you your passion for what you do, what you're capable of, and what you're taking away from this and able to create this entire new revenue stream for your future. That's professionalism, and that's good business, and it's good for your heart and soul. It's everything wrapped into one, and that's why tile is so special. So if there's a message that I'd like to send, is reach out, join a training program, see what it does for you. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And if I can ask a professional, personal, technical question about the program, I'd love to, and I don't know who will answer this, but at one of the slides, we saw a slide where people were lining up their the layout to the patterns in the stone or the tile. And I just want to know from some of our trainers, I guess, was that kind of a natural extension of what a tile installer does when they're looking at maybe a book match or looking at the grains in a tile or shade variations? Is that a natural extension to find where that's going to fit in the piece? Is that something that a lot of us can understand and you can instruct them on how to find the meaning in that tile or stone and put it into a special place in the piece that you're creating?
Finding the flow.
Joshua, does that make any sense at all? That's kind of
I mean, it does go hand in hand. I mean, that's something that we definitely made people aware of, is you definitely want to read the grain. And then I mentioned the shading. in the piece that Mike Manis did, you know, with just doing all the same colored tile. You know, with the wood grain tile, there's lights and dark shades to it. So, you know, it's picking up on, you know, not just the grain, but the shading. And yeah, I think that, you know, I mean, it's being tile installers, we're all already artists, whether we like it to admit it or not. It's one of those industries where you've got to have a little bit of creative mind. So yeah, it does. I think that does come natural to people because of just their background in the industry.
You know, another thing I picked up on, you mentioned some methods of back layering. I can't remember the exact term you used. You know, are those written down anywhere? Where can you find those?
Those are in the
Writing
reference
about
manual.
them. Coming in the artisan issue.
Say that again, Leslie?
I said, I'll be writing about them in the artisan issue coming up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're going to focus on for this. Because there were great techniques there. They were really amazing. Some of the foreshortening that Lee showed us, taking a picture of the instruments with his phone and kind of transforming that into a template for the guitar, right? And that you're working on now, Lee. And then the layering that Joshua was showing us, how to have like a basic shape and then how to do different iterations of that depending on you know, what you added to it. So yeah, those were amazing techniques. They were really, really good.
And we should crack open that NTCA reference manual. Hey, Joshua.
Yes, the 2023 is, I think it's the first one ever that these three methods, we call them, are recognized and in their own chapter in the NTCA reference manual. And they will be in there from here until eternity. And hopefully there'll be stuff added to it every year.
Maybe one day we'll see those in the TCNA handbook or the ANSI standards.
That's the goal.
That's the goal, right? So I've got another question. You know, I have a long list of questions here, but I'm only going to pick a couple of precious ones. Is the sky always clear at the Artisan and Revolution training? I mean, it's beautiful weather.
We got lucky. There's no question about that. We had, you know, obviously we were conscious in advance of understanding that this is Wisconsin and there's a reason it was in June, but we also can't predict weather even in June. And we did have that tent set up outside. We were a little nervous about what, you know, I mean, what could happen, but it was built pretty formidably to withstand any not too serious Mother Nature events. But yeah, we got pretty fortunate about that. We had to think about a lot of things in advance. We had a little generator outside just in case, you know. But yeah, the weather's always lovely in Wisconsin in June.
Yep.
The sky's always blue metaphorically at the Artisan Revolution and tile.
Right on.
Good one. Good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Thank
I
you.
was wondering if any of I think there's a couple of people who are actually not participants or attendees who are on this call. And I was wondering if they had any questions for the participants or the instructors or anybody. I think Jeremy, Jason, I don't know. Are there any questions?
It's like they've all been answered.
Yeah.
Hi.
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 Have the little man jump in.
Awesome. Well, they can certainly follow up. Anybody can come to us at any point and ask anything that they want. We are looking forward to communicate more as we move down the way. I can't thank everybody enough. I think, Mark, are we kind of at that point where we should say adieu and good night and thank you all?
And what a great program. Another great NTCA Roundtable Live Artisan Edition. This has been the Artisans Revolution in Tile, ART. It's a wrap up. What's it all about? Stay tuned for more information about another Artisan and Revolution in Tile program coming up, maybe in 2024. Stay tuned to the NTCA website and all of our social media outlets and all of our partners and sponsors. Stay tuned for more NTCA roundtables. They're a great program. We'd love to hear your voice. We'll have more of these coming up soon. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all of our artisans. Thank you to all of our Artisan Revolution and Tile attendees, all of our participants, and all of our sponsors and partners. We could not do this without you. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.